Match day 11 of the NPLW Victoria season. The midway mark has raced up to meet us, and tonight, on the doorstep of winter, a genuine 6-point match between two sides searching for some mid-season form. Preston at home again after that big win over Brunswick Juventus last Friday night, but that's their only win in the last 4 matches. And Box Hill United... Here's how they line up then. There's no changes from the Preston side. They put 5 goals past Brunswick Juventus last week. So Maggie Byrne in goal with the back 4 of Eva Harrington, El Talevski, Emma Checker and Mizuho Yamada. Miri Nishimura and captain Georgia Henderson will start ahead of those two. Summer Kapanekia will start ahead of Nishimura and Henderson, I should say, flanked by Ali Lamont and Eliza Amendolia. And one of the leading goal scorers in the NPLW Victoria this season, Valentine Percy, will lead the line for Preston. Box Hill United make 2 changes from their starting 11. They dropped all 3 points at Springside last week. One of them is in goal, where Natasha Statopoulos starts for the first time this season, replacing Marla Munro. And Victoria Zekas also goes out of the squad. Amira Makunja comes into the starting 11 for her first start since match day 2. So it is Statopoulos in goal with the back 4 of Elwyn Parbury, Zoe Hudson, Captain Olivia Alice and Nicolina Piccolo. The 4-player midfield of Katie Cox, Sophia Poliwata, Josephine Olacino and Georgia Karaparidis, who has scored in Box Hill's last 2 matches. And leading the line will be the dynamic duo of the returning Amira Makunja and Gabby Simpson. And Sophia Petkaris also comes into the squad, replacing Zoe Kataforis. So away we go then on a chilly Friday nights in the Lions' Den. On the doorstep of winter, and these two teams really trying to continue along their mid-season form. And Box Hill United did have a big win a couple of weeks ago over the FA Academy side, and Preston obviously last week with that 5-1 win here at home over Brunswick Juventus. And both teams in the middle of the table, and as I mentioned, a 6-point clash here this evening. Box Hill United, if they can get a win away from home, can claw their way back to within a point of Preston, who are 4 points above Pythagoras coming in to match day 11. And Preston, if they are able to make it 2 wins in a row at home this evening, will momentarily at least go into 4th position on the table. Make that 5th position on the table as there's a goal kick here for Box Hill United. Natasha Stathopoulos, first appearance of the season. It was that goalkeeping error late last week from the young Box Hill United goalkeeper Marla Monroe. Was maybe a little bit unlucky not to receive a foul in that passage of play. Julia Budiongo of Spring Hills scoring what proved to be the winner in the 86th minute. Here's Mizuho Yamada. Henderson and Parbury shoulder to shoulder. Our officials out there this evening, in the middle is Sebastian Starrell. Our Lions officials, Nicoletta Sotiropoulos and Geordie Lakadiotis. And our fourth official down below us is Zachariah Abdo. Box Hill just hemmed in here for a moment. Here is the returning Amira Makunja, who attracts a lot of attention in midfield from the red shirts. She's managed to slip away from Amendolia. Just showed a little bit too much to Al Talevski, and all the way back to Maggie Byrne in goal tonight for Preston. And Preston in that win over Brunswick Juventus last week, 31 shots on goal, 17 of them on target. They did feel a little bit dissatisfied that they were only able to knock 5 past the struggling Brunswick Juventus. The intervention of Elwyn Parbury. And for those that might be thinking, wow, 31 shots on goal in a match seems like a lot. Well, it's the most that any NPLW Victoria team has registered in a game this season. It's a wicked pass from Percy. Now Amendolia will strike from distance. And an early test for the returning Natasha Stathopoulos. Fired straight at the Box Hill United goalkeeper. This is appearance number 44 all told. It has missed the first 2.5 months of Box Hill United's campaign, so they've had to flip-flop between a couple of their inexperienced goalkeepers, certainly in terms of age. Marla Munro and Chloe McKenzie, both teenagers. And this is the only fixture we have tonight for you in the NPLW Victoria. The rest of the clashes will come across the weekend as we venture slowly and trepidatiously into the Melbourne winter. Here's Al Talevski and Emma Checker and Mizuho Yamada. Last time I called Preston, Yamada was playing in midfield. It's gone back out to her left back position. It does look like Box Hill United have shaped up as advertised in that 4-4-2 with Simpson and Makunja, the two strikers. Nishimura trying to recruit the run of one of her midfielders. And back with Natasha Stathopoulos. Good early pressing here from Preston. That was something that caused South Melbourne all sorts of problems a couple of weeks ago. Henderson, Bacallo, Hudson wants it out of her area. There's a foul coming back here, going the way of Preston. And that 5-1 win over Brunswick Juventus last week. We'll just stay with the play here momentarily. Percy, first time ball I should say. Couldn't link up with Kapanekia. Amendolia wins a throw in. And Mizuho Yamada opened the scoring last week in just the 9th minute. That was the 3rd match in a row that Preston scored in the first 10 minutes of a match in the league. And no doubt Box Hill United will be pretty keen to dig their heels in here and not go behind early. And it's an own goal for Brunswick UV goalkeeper Peyton Woodward, Valentine Percy, Ali Lamont, Georgia Henderson, all getting on the score sheets. Here is Ali Lamont. Lost track of the football there. Sliced away by Karaparidis, and Amendolia, it's taken a deflection. And it's gone behind for the game's first corner kick. And Georgia Henderson, her goal was the 5th and final goal last week up the other end of the ground to which Preston is attacking in this first half. It went down as one of their 31 shots, but it looked for all money like it was a cross, but it went in because that's just the sort of night Preston had here last Friday night. Here's the first corner kick of the match to be delivered by Miri Nishimura, who made her 50th appearance for Preston last week. Nishimura in towards the near post, and it's played away by Bacallo. And back out of play, repeat corner kicks for Preston. Early tentative moments for the travelling side, Box Hill United, who were beaten twice by Preston in the league last season. Nishimura, this one a little deeper into the mix. Amendolia and Yamada getting involved. Played forward by Gabby Simpson. And Preston back in possession. Kapanekia in a very deep position here. She was one that stayed out of the mix for that corner kick. Olacino. Wonderful American acquisition. Makunja. Harrington, who's appeared on the left side here for Preston. Danger averted as Georgia Henderson rolls forward with the football. Georgia missed that clash with Heidelberg United a week ago. Prior to that, she had started every match for Preston in the top division. Kapanekia for Lamont, who had just strayed offside, Ellie. Ellie's making her 5th start of the season. I mentioned she scored in that win over Brunswick Juventus last week, her first goal of the season. It would have been a big relief to finally open the account for 2025. Scored so many goals in her first season at Preston in 2024. It's Cox, speaking of American acquisitions to the NPLW Victoria this season. And Katie Cox coming over from UMF Sindri in Iceland. Playing in the collegiate system prior to that, Katie Cox at Bowling Green University, but originally from the famous Ohio city of Columbus. Already had a big impact for Box Hill, 4 goals this season. Has now started all 11 matches. Here's Mizuho Yamada. Lamont running into a blue roadblock and then bowling over Elwyn Parbury, and a foul going the way of Pythagoras. So through the first 10 minutes here at Jenna Steele Stadium, there'll be no goal in the opening 10 minutes tonight for Preston. Preston 4 wins, 3 draws and 3 losses through the first 10 matches. 7th with 15 points. Well behind where they were last year through 10 games. Through 10 games in 2024, 7 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses. The season they ultimately made it, as you will remember, all the way to the grand final. Henderson not quite able to pick up that pass. Now here is Gabby Simpson. Makunja runs ahead of her. The only reinforcement she has. She's just able to duck out of the way and let that ball roll on, Amira Makunja, but just a little bit too much on it from Gabrielle Simpson. Joined Box Hill this season after playing with Bentley last year. Here is Simpson, Bacallo. Back for Elwyn Parbury. Trying to take some crucial territory. Bacallo, Cox. This is a nice play from United until Parbury ran into a bit of a problem. Yamada. Lavance. Brought down by Zoe Hudson. Fairly, says our referee, Sebastian Storell, who, by the way, is overseeing just his 2nd match of the NPLW this season. Ali Lamont's a little bit slow to pick herself up down below us. Well, we've mentioned Preston's win last week. Box Hill United losing 3-2 away to Spring Hills. a game in which they had complete control of at half-time. Sophia Polywater playing the percentages there and seeing the ball away. Yeah, leading 2-0 at half-time, and then 3 second-half goals to the Stallions. It meant that Box Hill United dropped all 3 points, and how different things might have looked if they had held on and won that match. I mentioned that they are 4 points behind Preston, their opponents this evening on the table. Obviously, they only would have been 1 point behind and with an opportunity to overtake them had things been different. The first half in that match last week, in which Spring Hills barely had a sight on goal. Nobody at Springside last week at half-time would have thought that the Stallions had 3 goals in them. A couple of defensive errors and then a contentious third goal for Julia Badiongo. Here's a great battle between Parbury and Henderson. Now Yamada comes over. And a foul. I'm sure you can hear our air horns, our vuvuzelas here at Jenna Steele Stadium. And that's only a new feature here. Called it this ground only 3 weeks ago, and they didn't have those sirens here. They certainly do this evening. Brent Sternberg here with you on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel, and our cameraman Sam, one of the best in the business, self-proclaimed. Approaching the first quarter hour here. Lamont latches onto the pass from Amendolia. Ali to the byline. Is she able to win a corner kick? She is. Another set piece chance potentially here for Preston. The referee just calling for another ball. Well, if they've done their homework during the week, Preston, they will know that Box Hill United have conceded quite a few goals from set pieces, and in particular corner kicks this season. The first 2 corners they had moments ago didn't really trouble Pythagoras. This one in towards Henderson. Hasn't gone particularly deep. Checker with the chip. And comfortably snared by Box Hill's goalkeeper Natasha Statopoulos. Box Hill turn it over, playing out from the back. Amendolia. What a season she's having for Preston. Been in the team of the week twice this season already, including last week. Another one playing her football recently in the collegiate system in the USA. Oh, Nishimura, that's terrific work in midfield to keep it from Georgia Kataparidis. Preston roll forward again. Pumped into the 18-yard box for Percy, who can't get her shot past Parbury. Preston back in possession. Nishimura will strike from distance and will score from distance. Well, she has fine form shooting from range, Miri Nishimura. And Preston score early again and take the lead at home at Jenna Steele Stadium on Friday Night Football. Miri Nishimura, who, well, if you leave her with that much space, just having a look at it on the NPLW Victoria replay, if you leave her with that much space in that part of the pitch, you reap what you sow. And Box Hill United pay a heavy price. Preston 1, Box Hill United 0. And that is Miri Nishimura's first goal of the season after scoring 7 in the campaign last time out. Preston, for the 4th consecutive match, score early and lead. Talevsky. Percy dropping a little bit deeper into midfield. Nishimura, timely interception. Henderson. And Amendolia never really able to get that one under her control. And Preston winning 3 of their first 6 games to begin the season. Only won 1 of their last 4. That was that win over Brunswick UVA last week. They've beaten Bulleen, Essendon Royals, Bentley and Brunswick UVA this season, with losses to Alamein, Boroondara and Heidelberg United. Well, they are a team that create a lot of chances and get a lot of shots on goal, but it's putting the ball ultimately in the net that has proved a bit of a problem for Dan Foden's side so far this season. Oh, a deflection through here for Lamont, who will shoot from a tight angle and couldn't get it goalward bound. And Preston averaging just under 16 shots per game. That's second in the NPLW Victoria, behind only South Melbourne. As I mentioned, 31 shots on goal in that win last week over UVA. They did have 28 shots in a game earlier this season that they lost, Preston, to Boroondara. And Box Hill United averaging 14 shots per game. Again, they persist with this short pass out from the back to Olacino. Simpson. Bacallo at the stretch, has to retreat. So Box Hill now need to fight themselves out of a hole away from home. As I mentioned, they did get beaten by Preston in both league matches last season. Preston won 2-0 here at Geneseo Stadium, match day 14. It was a first half brace for Mibe Tanaka that was enough for Preston to take the 3 points that night, and a 1-0 win at Wembley earlier on that season. Miri Nishimura was actually on the score sheet in that particular match, scoring from the penalty spot. That was the only goal. And she's got form scoring against those in Pythagoras blue. And just too slow to close her down in that pivotal moment that has these 2 teams separated on the scoreboard as we go past 20 minutes played here at Geneseo Stadium. Yamada looking for Valentine Percy. And Percy's scored 10 goals this season, 9 of them in the league, including a hat-trick against the Bentley Greens here on match day 6. They've done so well recruiting Preston in the off-season. They've added some fine players. Bit of a head-scratcher as to why the results haven't been as forthcoming. Of course, we've got the second transfer window opening here in Victoria next week, so you will start to see some of the A-League women's players return and play for the sides here in Victoria. They may not come and play immediately. Some of them might still be on the beaches somewhere in Europe, potentially, taking in the French Open, maybe. Here's Amira Makunja. That is a wicked inboard pass for Simpson, who just wasn't able to take possession. Karaparidis was making a run down the left flank, and ultimately that thrust forward for Box Hill came to nothing. Olacino with the early release. This is going to loft over the top for Makunja. Just wasn't able to get the ball under her spell. She almost stood on it, Amira Makunja. And she will be a little bit rusty, the 23-year-old. As I mentioned, it's her first time in the starting 11 since match day 2. It's only her 5th appearance of the season. Joined Box Hill United from New South Wales, where she was playing for the Northern Tigers last year. A former Newcastle Jets youth player. Preston dominating the possession here this evening. And with an early goal, so a bright start for the home side, who come here tonight as the favourites. Only one spot separating the two teams on the table. Preston, you just get the sense probably about to springboard into a much more positive and successful second half to the season. Looking to make that 2 wins in a row here this evening. Now, stats people at the ground are telling us Preston, through the first 23 or so minutes, have had 60% of the possession. Not too much goalmouth action to tell you about. If you've only joined us in the last 5 minutes or so, you've missed a goal of the season contender from Preston's Miri Nishimura. Miri's first goal of the season, and an absolute beauty. Harrington. Lamont riding on the back shoulder of Parbury. Not able to see it out of play, and so Ali Lamont, I should say, races to the byline. Beats Parbury a second time. Does she shoot for goal? She cuts it across the 6-yard box. Not a convincing clearance from Karaparidis, I think it was, and eventually Stathopoulos is able to pull it out of the crisp reservoir night sky. Preston fans will love seeing Ali Lamont getting back into form, goal-scoring form last week, but her pace running at the back four of sides last season really troubled many a defender in 2024. Poor turnover from Harrington. Olachino carries it forward for Box Hill. Incredibly frustrated. I'm sure you're picking up that frustration on Sam's effects mic. Just trying to plot their way forward here, United. Here's Ellis. The customary gloves. Here's Karaparidis on the turn. Early release was a little bit ambitious for Katie Cox, and Emma Checker blasts it away. Box Hill United, as I've mentioned, have lost 4 of their last 5. Started the season promisingly. They only tasted defeat once in the first 5 matches. Their wins this season, Pythagoras have come over Burundurra, Bentley and Brunswick UVA. Have lost to Bulleen, South Melbourne, Heidelberg United, Alamein, and of course last week to Spring Hills. Such a disappointing result. Spring Hills, of course, the promoted side this season, who have had their moments, the Stallions. They've been plucky, I suppose, is probably the word that you could use to describe them, but Box Hill United are the established top division team. They would have been expected to win that game, and they were in the box seat, weren't they, at half-time, leading 2-0. Down goes Kapanekia. No foul, says our referee. Here's Olachino. Long ball forward, searching for Picello. Lamont getting more and more involved. Amendolia in midfield is allowed to turn and run. Oh, doubling back, she's looking for Yamada. I don't think Mizuho Yamada was anticipating that whatsoever. They've had their fullbacks flip, Preston. Yamada certainly started on the left, Harrington on the right. They've swapped over. Perhaps Preston manager Dan Foden just wanted to see how things shook out in the first 10-15 minutes or so. Box Hill starting to get their foot on the ball a little more now. Parbury lofting it into the 18-yard box. Maggie Byrne has to come and collect. Maggie Byrne's seventh appearance of the season. They've gone between Maggie Byrne and Sophie Dean this season, have the Lions. And they've only had one clean sheet so far in 2025, Preston. That was in a 3-0 win over Bulleen on match day 3. And that was Maggie Byrne in goal that particular afternoon. Box Hill United struggling away from home this season as the ball is back out of play. A contentious, hotly sought after throw in that eventually goes the way of the ladies in blue. This is their 6th match away from home already. Pythagoras, 1 win, 1 draw and 4 losses. They only won 3 times away from Wembley Park from 11 matches last season. Harrington being stalked by Cox. Eventually Harrington was able to get the pass away, but Ali Lamont had ended up almost behind her. And backwards they go. Here's Olacino getting busy in midfield. Wants to try and come forward with a bit more pace this time. Brilliant turn. That was gorgeous from Mizuho Yamada. Now you see me, now you don't. Amira Makunja didn't know where she'd gone. Here's Harrington. Henderson. Kapaneki just caught on her heels there. Bacallo. Stuck in the corner. Parbury. Back for Zoe Hudson. Here's Nishimura, our goal scorer this evening. Miri Nishimura's been with Preston all the way up through the 2nd division and into the NPLW Victoria. Played an integral role in that promotion year of 2022. Half an hour played at Genesis Steel Stadium. Preston 1, Box Hill United 0. Throw in on halfway.
Keep getting Josie on the ball. Yeah? Girls, movement. Box, move. Hold there.
The ball just stuck on the near touchline down below us. Just the NPLW Victoria table at the almost midway mark of the season. Of course, after match day 11, we will be officially at the halfway mark. Heidelberg United, the defending champions, on top with 23 points. Burundara in 2nd on 21 points. We then have South Melbourne in 3rd and Alamein in 4th on 19 points. Bulleen in 5th and the Essendon Royals in 6th, both on 16 points. As Nishimura dives in. Karaparidis brings the ball away, finds its way through for Amira Makunja, who tries to get it back onto her left boot so she can strike. The shot was blocked. Cox, the dangerous Katie Cox, closed down quickly by Georgia Henderson, who lulls her into the foul.
Great ball, Georgia!
They've had a couple of those entry passes into the final third, Box Hill, that have gotten in and around and behind the Preston back 4, but they just haven't been able to find a player in a tangible position to be able to shoot. Makunja, as you could see there, just trying to get it back onto her left boot. Perhaps she may have had the opportunity to strike with the first touch on the right boot. And by the time she doubled back, the red walls closed in upon her. Henderson just gets their second running. Hudson turns it away. 24-year-old American Zoe Hudson. It's her second season at Box Hill United. Was playing her football 2 seasons ago now in the first division in Portugal. She's another one that played for Bowling Green. Bowling Green University, of course, in the USA. Here's Nishimura. This time trying to run at the Box Hill defence. Karaparidis for Simpson. Only got Makunja ahead of her. It's taken a deflection. Cold night here in the northern suburbs of Melbourne. The kind of night where you can see your own breath. The final Friday of the autumn. Into the dog days of the winter we go, and these are teams that really need to start to get their skates on and get some results if they want to threaten the top 4. Preston beaten grand finalists last season, as I mentioned. And Box Hill United haven't played finals since 2013. Haven't won a final since they defeated Bundoora United on penalties to claim the 2012 VPL Women's Championship, as we've got Al Talevsky down in the middle of the pitch. Went down in a robust challenge. I think Al's okay. Just checking everything is where it should be. Preston still with just a tick under 60% possession. Oh, Ali Lamont, terrific. Keeps the ball and the foray forward alive for Preston. Henderson into the near post. It's away by Hudson. Further up pitch by Bacallo. Here comes Emma Checker. Checker strikes from distance. And that would have been a collector's item goal if that found its way in. The Vuvuzelas are blowing in appreciation. All of those people that stayed up during the night to watch the South African FIFA World Cup, I'm sure still have nightmares of those particular instruments. Down goes Cox. There's no foul. Preston play on. Lamont can't quite link up with Percy on the edge of the 18-yard box. Ellis. Simpson, who's probably just about been Box Hill's most threatening player in this first half. Not that they've had a lot of possession in their attacking third.
Activate, there's the one.
Parbury. Percy wins it back for Preston. Amendolia comes down to join the attack. Not entirely sure what Eliza's plan was there. Maybe just trying to dink it in over the top of the defence for Kapanekia. Give something for her to chase. Simpson steps past Nishimura. I think was expecting Bacallo to be a little wider there, and Lamont just wanders on over and regains possession for Preston. Henderson jumping on the loose ball, but Olicino wins the battle. And Olicino, 3 goals and 4 assists this season for Box Hill United. Cox is brought down by Henderson. And for the shirt tug earlier on in the contest rather than that lunging tackle. Push numbers up the pitch here, Box Hill United. Olacino from the set piece picks out Bacallo. Bacallo whips it into the near post. Checker. Balls into the near post don't often get past her. Nishimura out for Lamont. He comes forward menacingly. One back brilliantly though by Olacino, who has probably been Box Hill United's best player all told in this first half, in which we've just gone past 37 minutes. Our stats friends are telling us that Preston have had 6 shots on goal. Box Hill United just 1. Karaparidis is pickpocketed by Amendolia. Percy keeps getting the balls in these deep areas where she's not able to threaten the goal. Talevski. Emma Checker. Back out for Yamada. Talevski a little bit more direct this time. That is terrific work from El Talevski. Maintain possession for Preston. Henderson cuts right through a couple of Pythagoras defenders, and Lamont again to the byline. Has support here in Amendolia. Into the penalty area. Headed away by Cox. Checker. Here's Kapanekia trying to crash her way through. Nice time pass for Amendolia, and then Percy fires right at the goalkeeper. Promising build-up though from Preston. Beautiful one-touch passing in and around the fringes of the 18-yard box. And Percy, if she could have her time over again, might have tried to hit that with a little bit more venom rather than placement. Poor turnover. Kapanekia. Percy's deft little header. Oh, Lamont just couldn't get control. Couldn't get her boot to that one. It came off her knee. Always difficult to control when it comes off that particular part of the body. Here's Henderson into the 18-yard box. Valentine Percy attracts the crowd, away by Olacino. Preston tightening the screws here at Geneseo Stadium as we head for the final 5 minutes. Already 1 goal to the good, and looking to try and get a little bit of scoreboard insurance as we head for half-time. Amendolia and Yamada. It's blocked at the near post. Nishimura tried to do a little bit of a shimmy and a shake. Percy just barging her way through. Valentine Percy smothered by Stathopoulos. Terrific work from the Box Hill United goalkeeper. Valentine Percy so strong. So much determination. Box Hill United digging their heels in. They are up against the ropes. All Preston here at Geneseo Stadium. Friday night football, match day 11. It has not been a comfortable 40 minutes for the away side. Talevski. First time ball. Percy flicks on for Kapanekia. And I think Percy was offside. So a goal kick to relieve the pressure for Box Hill United. If they had the opportunity, Box Hill, to shake hands and call that the first half, they would do so. It feels like there is a second goal coming for Preston. We often see teams score against the run of play in the NPLW Victoria. Box Hill United would love to do that here and now. Simpson just a little bit put off by Nuzo Yamada. Harrington for Checker. And the Marshall at the back for Preston. Handful of appearances for the Matildas, I'm sure you're aware, Emma Checker. Nishimura's pass intercepted by Ellis. Karaparidis cannot believe that wasn't a Box Hill United throw-in. So Preston back in possession. Still they poke and prod. Checker rolling forward. Harrington. Lamont back for Eva Harrington. Closed down and dispossessed by Olacino, who does really well to come over and win at least a throw-in for Box Hill. Makunja, who had a couple of moments in the first 15 or 20 minutes, has gone quiet since. Percy just getting a little bit too friendly with Josephine Olacino there. Box Hill United flirting with another turnover. It's back with Olivia Ellis. It's good composure from the United captain, Parbury. Here is Bacallo. Runs into Miri Nishimura. Both players looked at the referee. Bacallo played to the whistle. Makunja trying to get past Harrington. And she loses her footing but wins Box Hill United's second corner kick of the match. In fact, their first. Into the final couple of minutes of the first half. Box Hill United up until this point have had just one shot on goal. This would come right against the flow of the game if they were to pinch one here. It's a right-footed outswinger from Elwyn Parbury. Right into the mix. Headed on by Bacallo, who has gone down with a bit of a head or facial injury perhaps. The referee comes over to just check that Nicolina is okay. She slowly peels herself up off the crisp, cold, dewy turf here at Geneseo Stadium. Might have copped the ball to the face more than anything there, Bacallo. That was why she wasn't able to get it on target. And so a fleeting moment of attacking promise there for Box Hill. Amounts to not much. As we ready ourselves for, I believe, just the 1 minute of added time. A relatively uneventful first half here at Geneseo Stadium outside of that wonder goal from Miri Nishimura. The longer this first half has gone on, the better Preston have looked with their interplay in the final third. A first half in which Preston have dominated the possession. If Box Hill United are going to come from behind and get a result or even a win, they're going to have to have far more of the ball in the second half, potentially even some changes coming at half time. Henderson, Yamada, chases, in vain only. And that'll do us for the first 45 minutes here at Geneseo Stadium. An opening half in which it was the Preston Lions show and in particular the Miri Nishimura show. A strike from the Preston Japanese midfielder on 16 minutes from distance. It'll be one of the best goals you see anywhere in Victoria on a soccer pitch this weekend. Right over the top of Natasha Statopoulos and into the back of the net. That's the only goal we have to tell you about to half-time here at Geneseo Stadium. Welcome back to Genesis Steel Stadium, everybody. Friday night football here in the NPLW Victoria. Our lone Friday night fixture for this evening. Match day 11. Brent Sternberg here with you. Where it's in the Lions' den. All the Lions' way. Only a 1-goal lead at half-time. But Preston did have 10 shots on goal to Box Hill United's just 2 in that first half, and that tells you a lot about how the first half rolled along. They have made a change at half-time, Box Hill United. This young lady here, Sarah Petkaris, is into the fray. She's replacing Gabby Simpson. Doesn't appear to be any changes for Preston, so we did speak late in that first half about Box Hill United potentially making a change and changing things a little bit. Well, they have gone to the bench and withdrawn Gabby Simpson for Sarah Petkaris. That's a very dangerous clearance from Maggie Byrne. And Petkaris is straight into the thick of the action. And that was a shot come cross, I think. Right back into the arms of the Preston goalkeeper, Maggie Byrne, who did not have much to do at all in the first half, Maggie. Going cold down there between the posts for Preston. Just a nervy little moment there to start the second half. And Preston have only come from behind to get a result once this season. And that was on match day 5 when they fought their way back from a 2-0 deficit to draw 2-2 with the Football Victoria Academy side. But they were able to score a goal in the first half in that match. This is only a 1-goal deficit, of course. This young lady here, Miri Nishimura, the only goal scorer, whips the ball in past the Box Hill defender, but Kapatekia was in an illegal position. And we remind you, Preston with a win this evening, they're looking to jump up into 5th spot on the ladder. Box Hill United, meantime, if they're able to come from behind and get a win, they won't go anywhere on the table as they're playing themselves into a bit of a bind here from out of the defensive zone. Polywater, I think that was, who was tripped up. No, that was Olachino. No mistake. Sophia Polywater will take the free kick. Yeah, they can't go anywhere on the table if they are able to come back and win Box Hill United, but they will close the gap to Preston above them to 1 point. Percy. Here is Henderson, fresh off that Goal of the Week nomination last week. Good defending. Good enough defending anyway there from Bacallo. Trickles all the way out of play. It's a throw-in on the far side. In that first half, 10 shots on goal for Preston, 2 of them on target. And Box Hill United, just the 2 shots, 1 already in this first half. Makunja loses out and then brings down Mizuho Yamada. And a foul. And a set piece for Preston in the early minutes of the second half. Well, they'll be looking to try and find this second goal as quickly as possible, Preston, and try and finish this game as quickly as they can. A few weeks ago when they were here at home against South Melbourne, they had that 1-0 lead for so long before South got that penalty at the death. An early goal here in the second half would be the perfect way to slam the door shut. Yamada goes directly. Oh, it was dipping. You just saw the shadow on the crossbar there as the ball dipped over and behind. No harm done to the goal of Natasha Statopoulos. They've had such a good record when leading at half-time, Preston. As the ball is up for grabs in the middle of the pitch, it's another foul going against the ladies in blue. Yeah, Preston this season have been in front at half-time 3 times prior to this evening. 2 wins and a draw. They were in front 11 times at the break last season. That's essentially every second game, 11 games from the 22 that they played in the regular season. They went on to win 7 times, 2 draws. Only lost twice, obviously, when leading at the break. Good early release there from Bacallo, and Karaparidis is out after it. And Macheka just stays off her and gives her a yard. Karaparidis into the mix. A little bit too much on it for Cox, just drags Katie away from the goal mouth. The overlap run for Bacallo. Oh, a little nutmeg, but the red shirts went out. Might have been better off just trying to play for a corner kick there. Bacallo playing with a little bit more intent and energy here, Box Hill. As I say that, it's out for a throw-in. Preston, 59% possession in the first half. And Box Hill come into match day 11 with one of the highest average times of possession per game in the league. Just under 56% time in possession per game. That's second to South Melbourne. Preston with just a tick under 50%. Percy trying to smash that one forward for Henderson. Bacallo. Now Makunja. Shoulder to shoulder with Harrington and beats her. Makunja into the 18-yard box. Was she brought down? She was. Back where the contact was initially made. Amira Makunja, if you weren't with us in the first half, I did mention it's her first start since match day 2. And at times, particularly in the first 45, she looked menacing. That speed running right at the Preston backline. So a set piece here for Box Hill United. Probably not in a spot to shoot directly. All the players have huddled in and around the 18-yard box. As Box Hill go in search of an equaliser. Parbury put it right under the nose of the goalkeeper. It was away by Talevski. Cox trying to flick it on. The intervention of Emma Checker. Oh, lovely touch there from Bakello. Cox chases it to the byline. And then right across the 6-yard box it goes. It's flagged down by Karaparides. This is a lot better from Box Hill United. Karaparides just can't get it past, or did get it past El Talevski, but Maggie Byrne collects. And they've already had more goalmouth action in this second half, in which we've played 7 minutes. Box Hill now a turnover. Makunja trying to do what Miri Nishimura did in the first half and score from distance. Not able to hit that one with any penetration whatsoever. Will go down as another shot on target. Well, they got a first-hand look last week, Box Hill, at just how quickly things can change when Spring Hills come from 2 goals down to beat Box Hill United 3-2. There is activity on the Preston bench down below as Cox loses possession and it's out of play. Going to get a double change with Dan Foden's side momentarily. Olacino can't get it past Percy. Here's Amendolia. Preston threaten. Lamont with the first time release. Hudson does enough. Pekaris. Yamada rolling forward. Eventually the blue shirts mount. They'll sit here for Bakello in midfield. Amendolia just able to get it back to Harrington. Parbury with Kapanekia all over her. And we're going to see Ali Vlaming come in to the match in just a moment, and we're also going to see one of their youngsters as well. We'll just stay with the play here. Karaparides, that pass was just a little bit too hot. It looked like a different team though in the early minutes here. Box Hill, as Nishimura's penalised for a handball. So Ali Vlaming and Molly May Ramsey are about to join us on the pitch. And they will be replacing Eva Harrington. Eva Harrington and Summer Kapanekia. So that'll be a like-for-like switch between Ramsey and Harrington at right back for Preston. And Vlaming, who has been in and out of the starting 11 this season, she will replace Kapanekia. So maybe a bit of a shuffle up front for Preston. And I'm just seeing our referee put his little book back in his pocket. I may have missed a yellow card there while that was all happening. But here is a set piece for Box Hill. Olacino to the back post. And off the upright and somehow staying out. And it, had that gone over the line, eventually the flag is up for offside. Had that gone in, I dare say it was a Preston player that got the last touch. Mighty close, Box Hill United to finding an equaliser. And here go Preston, trepidatiously passing it around at the back. Byrne lofts it high and long up near halfway, or turnover right in the middle. Amendolia, Lamont, Vlaming up ahead of her. And it's played behind by Parbury. No, Stathopoulos just gets there in the nick of time. Ali Vlaming has appeared now in all 11 games. As Yamada takes it right away from the Box Hill player in towards Vlaming. And then onto it is Amendolia. Oh, it took a deflection on the way to the goalkeeper. Stathopoulos kept their eye on the ball. Eliza Amendolia was just slipping as she was unwinding the shot at goal. Opportunities coming to pass at both ends of the pitch. Bacallo doesn't earn the foul. Karaparides and Makunja giving chase. Checker in a compromised position. Pat Karas has really given Box Hill something since coming on at half-time. Just losing the ball there. Nishimura's early ball. Here's Lamont coming forward with a full head of steam. Ellie, will she have room to shoot here? I think that was an intended pass for Percy.
Play the way you face, yeah.
The ball once again getting past the big striker of Preston and running all the way through to the keeper. This game's opening up all of a sudden. Box Hill United, though, with some troublesome turnovers. Amendolia for Henderson. Slides it right into the penalty area. All the Preston players had run past it. Olachino waltzes forward with the ball. Makunja, it's a nice touch. Doesn't have a lot of support around her, and eventually Nishimura, a little engine that just keeps on working, keeps on chugging away in midfield. Byrne, desperate to keep her second clean sheet of the season, Maggie Byrne. It's only a young player, 17 years of age, the Preston shot stopper. Nishimura. Looking for Flame Ink, but Olivia Ellis. Poliwata. All the way back to Stathopoulos. Just get the sense that Preston, in the last couple of minutes, have started to get the match back on their terms. But they certainly look, Box Hill United that is, like they're giving a lot more going forward. Petkaris, Alice, and Karaparides, just the pass from Alice wasn't the best. Sarah Petkaris, by the way, is an 18-year-old. Has been at Box Hill United since 2021. They've come through Monash City. Only made one appearance for Box Hill last season. Started match day 22 against the FV Academy side. This is Sarah's third appearance of the season. All of them off the bench. One of those players that has had to overcome the dreaded ACL injury in her career. Alice. Karaparides. Neat little turn. That ball's just gone behind Cox. Whipped away by Preston. Olachino. Here's Petkaris. Hudson now. Makunja. Closed down by Talevsky, and here comes Lamont. Running into and then out of traffic. Ramsey. First time release, can't get over Zoe Hudson. Now we've got a tangle up in the middle of the pitch between a couple of fiery combatants, Amendolia and Cox. Also goes the way of Pythagoras. Parbury. Long ball for Karaparides. Another disappointing giveaway from United. Box Hill lost 4 of their last 5 matches. And both of these teams' form has eluded them the last month or so. Preston also only winning 1 of their last 4. Cox brings it forward for United. Nishimura's right there. Cox fires in at the near post, but Maggie Byrne has it covered. Of course, both of these teams have already been eliminated from the cup competition, so all of their attention on the league. Throw in adjacent to the 18-yard box for Preston. No, we go past the hour mark. Throw in right underneath the watchful eye of the Box Hill substitutes who are keeping warm. Percy plays it across the 18-yard box, cleared awkwardly away by Parbury. Lamont chases it down. Yamada. And this attack stays viable here for Preston. Will Ellie Lamont shoot from distance? She will. That one was probably drifting wide, but Stathopoulos has already been beaten from distance tonight and wasn't taking any chances. And Box Hill United with Maeve Brown, Chiara Lettieri, Emma Peroni, Theodora Wilson. Carried forward here by Kataparidis. She's into the 18-yard box. She's going past Molly May Ramsey to the byline and then fizzes it right across the goal mouth. The Box Hill players who joined the attack probably just got a little bit too deep there by the time the cross came. I think it was Makunja was standing almost on the toes of the goalkeeper. And Box Hill have made one of their substitutions already. Sarah Petkaris into the fray. Here she is. And now Karaparidis. First time shot. There's the equaliser for Box Hill United. And for the third match running, Georgia Karaparidis scores for Pythagoras. And that is a goal that has been coming. They have been much better through the first 20 or so minutes in this second half. Preston's goal has been breached. It's 1-1 at Genesis Steel Stadium. And you've got to love the celebration. Georgia went straight for the corner flag. Preston, once again, just starting to rue their opportunities that they had in the first half. 10 shots on goal. Only 2 of them were on target, but they had a little 10-minute patch or so where they really were tightening the screw and had a couple of wonderful opportunities. But we're back level at the 65th minute. Preston 1, Box Hill United 1. And Georgia Karaparidis, the 16-year-old. 16-year-old that was at Box Hill, joined the under-17s in 2022. Third goal of the season, has scored in 3 consecutive matches. Box Hill United with a bit of momentum, although a turnover. And here is Lamont. Has plenty of red shirts up ahead of her. Nishimura. Box Hill quick to close her down this time. Percy on the turn. Oh, it skews out into the path of Amendolia, who was onside. The shot is smothered by Stathopoulos. Still they press the Lions. Amendolia a second time. Stathopoulos once again. Outstanding goalkeeping. Terrific defensive efforts there from everybody in a blue shirt, but particularly the returning Stathopoulos. Lamont, Vlamink, down for Alice. The clearances deflected off the attacking side and behind for a goal kick. Just a little flurry there from Preston.
Let's go, Tash!
A couple of opportunities for Amendolia in the space of only about 10 seconds or so. And that right there is proof of how critical it is to have a top-flight goalkeeper in between the sticks. And Tasha Stathopoulos has been on the sidelines all season. It's her first start for 2025, coming up with a couple of critical saves. Here's Karaparidis, who turns and burns. Finds Bacallo. Box Hill United, if Preston aren't careful here, might be in front momentarily. Olacino. That pass, I think, was designed for Cox. Petkaris chases. Loses her footing and Nishimura comes away for Preston. Drives it down the near touchline for Vlamink, who might have to go on her own here. She's only got Percy ahead of her. Good work there from Polywater. The game becoming stretched already. We've still got the best part of 25 minutes to play.
Keep it! Keep it!
Box Hill United looking a different team in the second half. Although they have still been a little bit dicey, giving up possession in midfield. Pitcaris trying to design a long ball for the attackers. He's back with Olacino and Ellis. Ellis taking some territory. We've got Emma Peroni, who's readying herself to enter the fray. Another goal-scoring option for Box Hill United. Ellis, quite an advanced position for her. Karaperidis, Olacino. All of a sudden, Box Hill are dominating possession. No foul on Olacino. She chases over and maintains possession. Brilliant from Josephine Olacino. Here's Parbury. Out for Bacallo. Drives it forward for Box Hill United. Grappling with Lamont. Bacallo doesn't get much of a cross. Turned away by Percy, but once again now it's Preston panicking with those long balls out the back. Olacino, Cox, trying to link up with Manjara, who was arriving but not quite quickly enough. And Preston, I mentioned, had 59% of possession in the first half. That number has now dropped to 54%. There's Emma Peroni is joining us now. Amira Makunja, her shift is done on 69 minutes. The referees not happy about that game recommencing. We've got to wait for my whistle, folks. The official in the middle, Sebastian Sterrell, who's now having words with the Box Hill manager. Box Hill manager Kagulan Sabaratnam, first season in charge of Box Hill, of course formerly with Calder United. And this match, interestingly poised. Might have been a handball in there that the referee missed. Preston taking the lead on 16 minutes. Taking that 1-0 lead into half-time. The goal in the 64th minute to Georgia Karaperidis has it at 1-1. And the fresh legs of Emma Peroni. Good pressing there, but it's behind for a goal kick. Peroni's 10th appearance of the season. Missed last week against Spring Hills. And she was with Brunswick Juventus last season, but come over to Wembley to join Pythagoras in 2025, formerly of Alamein and the Altham Redbacks. Good work from Alice in midfield. Bacallo and Cox. Alice, long-time captain of Box Hill United. Hudson. Out for Olacino. Oh, that was very casual. She knew what she was doing there, Josephine Olacino. Has gotten herself in a position to strike, and she does! And she scores one of the great Box Hill goals! Josephine Olacino puts Box Hill United in front. What a turnaround in the Lions' Den. Stunning stuff from the Box Hill United American midfielder from Northwestern University, originally from Northville in Michigan. What a goal. And Box Hill United, who only mustered 2 shots on goal in the first half, have taken a stunning lead here at Jenna Steele Stadium. Preston 1, Box Hill United 2. And you have to say that is nothing less than what Pythagoras deserve. They have been terrific in their second half. They were happy to sit off in the first half, allowing Preston to have all of that possession. They have been far more proactive and productive in this second 45. So it's over to Dan Foden, Georgia Henderson and Preston now to fight their way out of a deficit. Down goes Georgia Henderson, no foul. Cox brings the football away for Box Hill. Karaparidis. Here's Bacallo. Only Peroni ahead of her. Will do well to retreat. And she does. Parbury goes past Lamont. Can shape to cross here. Parbury's cross won't find its way into the 18-yard box. And a disappointing result to another promising build-up there for Box Hill United. Well, they do have a great overall head-to-head record with Preston, do Box Hill. 17 wins for Pythagoras, 3 for Preston and 1 draw. Of course, most of those meetings were in the earlier part of the century when Box Hill Inter, as they were then known, were the kings, or the queens perhaps, more pertinently. They were the queens of the Victorian Premier League Women's. And Box Hill were winning 8 championships in 12 years. Great work from Karaparidis in the corner. Cox into the 18-yard box. Caitlin Cox! Box Hill United are running rampant at Gettysfield Stadium. And it's the 2 Americans who have come up with rapid-fire goals. Box Hill United have a third. And Preston trudge back to their positions. And they have been absolutely stunned by the ladies in Pythagoras blue in their second half. Well, it's been almost a complete mirror image of what happened to Box Hill United last week, when they threw away a 2-goal lead. Preston, of course, only led 1-0 this evening. A 3-goal second half for Box Hill United. Quite extraordinary. Great challenge there from Parbury to take it off the toe of the fallen Ali Lamont. Preston 1, Box Hill United 3. And we're into the final quarter hour here in Reservoir. And this is going to take something spectacular now for Preston to try and get something from the fire here. Just a little bit of housekeeping. I should apologise. I think I called Katie Cox Caitlin Cox in the build-up to that goal. It is, of course, Katie. What a wonderful goal. A couple of absolute ripping strikes from Olacino and Cox. Turnover, however. Here's Henderson. Pass just in behind Vlaming, and intercepted by Ellis. Given straight back by Ellis. Yamada looking for Percy, just down on the edge of the 18-yard box, and then fired it towards Ali Flaming, but it was too sharp. And Dan Foden is going back to the bench. We're going to see Lani Jadicha replacing Ali Lamont, and we're going to see a debut here for Caitlin Tamal, who will be replacing Ali Lamont, I believe it is. I think Ali has left on the far side of the pitch. Yeah, so Ali Lamont coming off. And the captain, Georgia Henderson, as well. And Caitlin Tamal, the 17-year-old, making her first senior appearance. It's her first season at Preston, come over from Keilor Park. Box Hill United going forward again. Peroni giving chase. She's too fast for Jadicha, and Peroni blasts it through the goalkeeper and then can't get it past the defender for Preston, who's only just come onto the pitch and straight into defensive action. And Preston hold on by the skin of their teeth. Well, if there is to be another goal in this match, the smart money would be on Box Hill United, who I mentioned have only come from behind to get a result once this season. Karaparides whips it in, but only as far as Emma Checker. They come from 2-0 down to get a draw with the FB Academy side. Preston come forward now. This is Tamal for Percy on the edge of the area. Again, the pass just in behind Vlamink. Just a little bit untidy and disconnected in the front third now, Preston. As the ball fizzes out of play. Well, they were able to come from behind to get a result 4 times last season, Box Hill United. Well, they have been an absolute tornado here at Genestil Stadium. Tamal closed down. Box Hill keep getting the ball in acres of space in midfield. Preston coming apart at the stitches. Peroni. Karaparides has been an absolute dynamo in the second half. Just keeping the ball in the field of play. Olacino. Parbury. Box Hill United mount again. Parbury looking to do a little bit better with her cross from this position a moment ago. Here's Bacallo, lofts it in. Talevski, only as far as Bakaris. We can't keep the shot down as she turns away and puts her head in her hands in disgust.
Hey, if Owen goes, get someone underneath.
So, for those keeping count at home, 3 goals inside 10 minutes for Box Hill United. Georgia Karaparides, Josephine Olacino and Katie Cox to turn this match on its head. As I mentioned, it was only a 1-goal lead at half-time, but it felt like a relatively comfortable one with the way that the pattern of the game took in the first half. And this would be a critical 3 points for Box Hill United to just keep in contact with the teams above them. We're going to see another one of the Preston youngsters injected into the match here. Miri Nishimura makes way. Miri gave Preston the lead with one of the strikes of the season on 16 minutes. That was a long, long time ago now. And on in her place comes Talissa Soto. So she made a couple of appearances, senior appearances for Preston in 2023. This is her first appearance of the new season. She's been playing some great football in the under-20s. This is a throw in here for Pythagoras. And Talissa Soto, a 20-year-old. 1 goal in 9 matches in the under-20s this season. And Preston would kill for even just 1 goal and very quickly. Karaparides goes to the corner flag. Maybe a little bit too early to start those tactics. Still 8 minutes to play. Checker. Oh, big coming together between Cox and I think that was Amendolia. A foul going the way of the home side. Cox cannot believe it. Very disappointed in that whistle. Yamada. Box Hill desperate in midfield to win back possession. We didn't see any of that in the first half. They turn it over. Karaparidis. Cox. Bakello. Happy to retreat for now. Olacino. Alice. Scored a wonderful goal earlier this season from distance. Olivia Alice. And Bakello. And eventually the red shirts overwhelm her, but it comes all the way back to Josephine Olacino. Karaparidis. Peroni is in the 18-yard box. Karaparidis zigging and tagging to the byline. The cutback, turned off the upright and then out. Inches away from an own goal there, Preston. Box Hill inches away from a fourth. And it almost certainly would have been lights out. Well, I can't imagine the Box Hill United have played better football than this season. It took a lacklustre first half and probably a stern talking to at half-time to spark them into action. But they have looked like a bona fide finals contender in this second 45. As I mentioned earlier, Preston are not an easy team to beat at home. Only 2 teams were able to do so last year.
Keep it.
All the way back to Stathopoulos, who made those critical saves earlier in this half before Box Hill United went on that scoring spree. Olacino has been outstanding. Cox with a wonderful individual play that cracked open that third goal. And they really have just taken the spirit, taken the soul of Preston in their second half, have Box Hill. Good work from Tamal. Amendolia has gone a little bit quiet in the second half. Ramsey closed down and dispossessed by Petkaris. He's trying to get it in behind for Karaparidis. To no avail. Amendolia back in possession for Preston. Percy. Well, once again, trying to play a tricky pass in behind for Molly May Ramsey, but just not able to get the right connection, not able to hit it with the right level of deftness, just a little bit too sharp for Valentine. Still with 5 minutes to play. Can the Preston striker add to her goal scoring tally? Stathopoulos testing the patience of our referee in the middle. Amendolia. Talevski. Hudson doesn't deal with it. Well, neither really does Poliwata. Good work there from Olacino. Lofts it forward, again banking on the pace and the tenacity of Karaparidis, but Ramsey wins that particular contest. Byrne. Yamada. Upfield for Talevski. It looks like she's pushed a little bit further up the pitch to try and help Preston find this goal. Right across the 6-yard box. And gathered by Natasha Stathopoulos. And in the grateful gloves of the Box Hill United goalkeeper.
Nina, you good? Thea, go get ready.
And Bakello's just stayed down momentarily off the ball there, as it's out of play on the far side. Well, scoring late goals has not been the forte of Preston over the last 12 months or so. They've scored 4 goals in the final quarter hour of matches this season. They've scored 1 second half stoppage time goal after they didn't score any in 2024. They're going to have to obviously score twice if they're to register a result here. It's up the wrong end of the pitch. Peroni. A throw in. Box Hill United would have been so disappointed with how the match last week against Spring Hills transpired. Of course, you're always disappointed when you lose, always disappointed when you drop points. And that was the first time they had blown a 2-goal lead, Box Hill United, since 2021. They go in search of a fourth goal here. The cutback, Karaparides, and then Parbury, just out of anger, firing it at the goal mouth. Yeah, Box Hill United, the last time they threw away a 2-goal lead was match day 2, 2021. A match at home at Wembley Park that they ultimately lost to Heidelberg United 6-2. That's how long it's been since Pythagoras have given away a lead like that. But they're only a few minutes away, plus stoppage time, from having turned the tables on the opposition themselves. Hudson beaten by the bounce. Ellis turns it over in midfield. Soto gives it back. Petkaris, being one of the players of the match despite only playing the second half. Ellis, Bakello, through comes Talevsky. Ramsey. Percy's going to lose this foot race to Poliwata. Ellis. Amendolia.
Keep the ball!
Box Hill United have a couple of substitutes warming up. They'll be bringing those on in the stoppage time minutes. Operation Kill the Clock. Ramsey does really well to win possession. Olacino comes in and pinches it. And Karaparides has just chased everything that has come down this left flank for Box Hill United this evening.
Good. Keep it!
Petkaris. Karaparides. Well, next week when Box Hill United, or 2 weeks away I should say, we do have a league-wide bye in the NPLW Victoria next week, but after that Box Hill are at home against Bulleen. And Georgia Karaparides will be looking to get a name on the score sheet for a 4th consecutive match. Preston, after the bye, are back at home to play Spring Hills. That's a beautiful ball through for Amendolia. He's had a couple of opportunities in this second half and has been denied at every turn by Natasha Stapopoulos, who was beaten from range in the first half but has repaid her dues in the second. She's made 3 or 4 critical saves for Box Hill United in the second 45. Into 3 minutes of stoppage time we go. Box Hill United can taste their biggest win of the season. Cox receiving from Peroni. Bakello's making her way into the 18-yard box, but Cox is making her way to the corner flag. And eventually she's shoved over. That whistle is not for a foul, but for a throw-in. Box Hill United will take all the time that they are allowed. They're getting the internationally recognised symbol of hurry up and get a wriggle on. Karaparides to the corner. And a throw in for Box Hill. So this result, as I've mentioned, Box Hill United, they won't go anywhere on the table, but they will draw to within a point of Preston. Box Hill United entered match day 11 in 8th position. Preston in 7th. The gap between those two teams will be just 1 point. And Georgia Karaparides is coming from the pitch. What a shift she's put in this evening. And she's being replaced by Chiara Lettieri, who played in the under-20s earlier tonight. So Chiara's getting a few extra minutes. And Georgia Karaparides on the score sheet, as I've mentioned, for the 3rd consecutive match. And that was the goal that really sparked a wild Pythagoras turnaround. Heading for the final minute of the 3 that we were promised. Box Hill United not particularly interested in a fourth, I don't think. Petkaris out of play and another throw in. Now, referee Sebastian Sterrell checks the watch. The seconds tick away, and that's going to be the yellow card for time wasting. The first yellow card of the evening, going the way of the United captain, Olivia Ellis. Out of play. This time it's going the way of the Lions, but they are surely out of time. That 1-goal lead that they had at the half. A brilliant goal scored by Miri Nishimura, but they weren't able to capitalise on the opportunities that they created in the first half. And Box Hill United come out breathing fire in the second 45 here in the Lions' Den. And is this the 45 minutes that turns Box Hill United's season around? Ramsey's pass can't get past Polywater. Skips out of the defensive area for Box Hill United. Petkaris, Amendolia, and out of play. We are at the mercy now of the man in the middle. Cox, throw in. And it's all over at Genis Steel Stadium. What a win for Box Hill United. Match day 11 kicks off with a boil over at Genis Steel Stadium. A 10-minute burst from Pythagoras in the second half turned this one right round. It's their 4th win of the season, Box Hill United, but by far their most impressive. Miri Nishimura scored for the Lions after 16 minutes. They went into half-time with the lead, Preston, and then Box Hill United. A goal to Georgia Karaparides after 64 minutes. 8 minutes later, a long-range strike from Josephine Olacino, and then just 2 minutes later, Katie Cox for Box Hill United scored a third. And Preston, from that point, were out of the match. What a turnaround, what a win, a critical 3 points tonight for Box Hill United to stay attached with the teams above them. And after that very disappointing loss at Springside last week, where they threw away 3 points, they turn the tables on the opposition this evening and get one of the most impressive wins that any team has had through the first half of the NPLW Victoria season. Thanks for your company this evening, everybody. That was an interesting match, a match of 2 halves. Preston dominating the first 45, Box Hill United sensational in the second. For me, Brent Sternberg, our cameraman Sam, hope you enjoyed the action on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel, with the final score here at Genis Steel Stadium is Preston 1, Box Hill United 3.